Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna show you how I marinate some of the meats we get from the groceries. We normally buy bulk meat, it's just easier, and I just marinate them all together and then portion size them to put in the freezer or the fridge or whatever when we need it. If we cook it earlier, then I don't freeze it, and the rest goes to the freezer and just thaw it out later. Um, this is a lemongrass. So I got this from my garden. The way you get the lemongrass is you cut it very close to the ground. This is where like it's very thick in the in the bottom, and then I cut it there, and then I take the tops off and I use that for mulch in my garden. And this thick piece is what I use to cook and marinate with. So I have noticed that it's easier to cut when you use kitchen scissors like this. So I just cut it like this for marinade. There you go. So we're gonna start with pork ribs that we got. So for that pork ribs, the only thing that didn't come from my garden is onions. I ran out of onions from my garden, and garlic. I did not have garlic this season, but I am trying to grow them for the winter crop. And this ginger, it's so fresh because it came from my garden. That's why I so like it, because I love having my garden, because when I need something I just go to my garden basically. And another thing with the ginger too, I've noticed that the best way to preserve them, I've been trying to trying different ways to preserve them, because when you leave them out in the counter, it dries out. It takes a while, but it eventually dries out. And sometimes you don't use ginger every day. And then I put them in the vegetable drawer in the fridge, and it's either it will dry out or it will go moldy after a bit too. So I've noticed that if you freeze it whole without cutting or peeling it, it preserves it better also. And another one that I've noticed is basically just burying them in my ginger garden, like my ginger bed space. So when I have extra ginger that I know I'm not gonna be using for a bit, I just put it under the ground. It's like just about an inch under the ground. Make sure that the soil is always moist. So even if it doesn't sprout, it keeps it in hibernation and it's fresh. I don't know how, like I've never read it that way. This is how I found out through experimenting with my garden and things that I cook daily. And then green onions came from my gardens also. So let us start. This was about 2 rack of ribs, pork ribs. So I'm gonna marinate it with the lemongrass. This marinade, actually, it's kind of similar to other things, but basically I actually kind of did this on my own. Like I noticed that, you know, like lemongrass, like it's really good with pork, so I'm putting it on my pork marinade. And then it's ginger and lemongrass has almost the same, almost not the same, but almost the same palette of flavor, and they complement each other. And I always have garlic. I love garlic. So I just basically like crush them and like whole and then peel it, and that's it. That's all I do there. And then onions. For marinade, I use just regular yellow onions. There. And that is for another one. And then bay leaf. I like bay leaf in this marinade. As you can see, I don't really measure much. I just look and see what's good, and then this will be soy sauce. And of course, you need some acid. I use calamansi, and you can use lemon also if you don't have calamansi, which is a Filipino lemon. You can substitute with lemon or even lime. It's okay to substitute with lime too, but I prefer lemon. It's not as tangy as lime. And then black pepper, freshly ground. And then my favorite vinegar, coconut nectar vinegar, for more acid on it. And a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I just like the flavor combination with this. And basically just mix it over. So as I said earlier, I normally make a big batch and then I portion size it for however we can eat in one meal. Most of the time I love just cooking fresh, and I eat leftovers, but I try not to do leftovers sometimes, or maybe just a little bit of leftovers that I could eat for lunch the next day. So it depends on what you normally do. I see that we need, since it's a big batch, more black pepper. And there you go. So I'll put this aside to marinate a little bit more before I put it on the freezer or fridge. And now the second meat we're gonna be marinating is beef short ribs. It looks like this. We bought it cut like this already, so we put garlic on it, the rest of the onions, and then we put green onions on it. So about like similar flavor profile, but not that close. And then soy sauce, and then a little apple cider vinegar for acid, and a little of this coconut vinegar for acid, and of course black pepper. Same with this. I marinate it, and then how you cook this is I would grill this if you have a grill. If you don't have a grill, it's air frying it is great also for it. And just let it marinate. So with this short ribs, I would marinate it for at least an hour before cooking it. And same goes with the pork one also, but of course overnight marinade is so much better also. Like, just need a little bit more soy sauce. And there you have it. And just portion it out to freeze for later, or to marinate more and freeze more and cook some for later. Please subscribe for more tips in gardening and cooking.